Hmm. Welcome to Mirror Domains Movie News, your place for entertainment headlines. And this is the Barbie Oppenheimer box office smash weekend, guys. Barbenheimer, it's here, and it did extremely well. Some other topics we'll look at is James Gunn's DCU. Jamie Foxx talks for the first time. Is Twitter dead? It's going to get a rebrand, maybe. I don't know what's all of that about, but yeah, we'll take a look at some hit or miss headlines. What's coming out of the Comic-Con? Was there anything big coming out of the Comic-Con? We'll take a look at that. But we start off today's show by taking a look at the foreign box office, because it does have some impacts before we get into the bulk of the normal box office report. The China box office for Barbie. Barbie opens up in 5th place with $8 million. So we just have to keep this in the back of our mind when we look at the domestic numbers. Now, I thought it wasn't going to open up in China. Didn't you guys hear or remember reports saying that it's going to be banned there because they show a map of the world and China didn't like that map or something? Wasn't that the case, or was that Thailand that didn't like that? I can't remember. It was going to be banned somewhere because of something that shows up literally in the back. I can't even remember. There was a map of Barbie Land. I don't remember a map of the world, though, so it's kind of like, whatever. Some people gets their feathers ruffled for the most minor things. Anyway, I had fun with Barbie. $8 million in the China box office, or in the Korean box office. It opens up in the 4th. So Barbie, maybe more of a domestic North American kind of thing. It's interesting. When I went to see it with my niece, she was kind of like, at first I didn't want to see the Barbie movie. I hated Barbie. And then I saw a couple of the trailers, and then I really wanted to see it. And that was, I believe, the sentiment for a lot of people, because people were out in droves to see Barbie this weekend. And like, even when I went to see Oppenheimer, there was like groups of people wearing pink outfits and all color coordinated. And it's kind of like, this was like a cultural event, a Barbenheimer weekend. People were out to see both movies, and both movies delivered, man. My reviews for that, both of them, are up on the channel right now if you want to go check that out. There are all my other social media handles that you guys can check out. So, Korean box office, China box office, 4th and 5th. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be too much of an impact for the domestic box office, because it blew everything out of the water. It was without a doubt a smash weekend for the theatrical experience. There's real meaning behind Barbenheimer. If you build exciting movies, they will come. Yeah, Barbie had good, interesting, like, word of mouth, for both of these, right? Everybody was like, you gotta check out the performances from Cillian Murphy and such for Oppenheimer. But then when you actually go see it, the sound design, and it envelops you, and it's just like, this seems like it should be normally boring material, but Christopher Nolan crafts it in such a way you're just enthralled with it. And then, yeah, as I said, this is like the opening scene for Barbie. So it's kind of like, when you see her standing there in her big, tall, tower-esque kind of like on the big screen, and you're like, and then it just goes into this happy dancing kind of song, and it's like you're sucked into it right away, and people are engaging with it, because when I watched Barbie, the people were clapping in the theater when certain statements, certain monologues were being delivered, and I think, and people clapped at the end of Oppenheimer too. When that finished, people were applauding. So it is resonating with fans. And Oppenheimer, yeah, as I said, traditionally you would think that it's a historical piece that is dealing with real events. I don't know if it's going to be that interesting. It's 3 hours, but no, don't worry, guys. That 3 hours, you're not going to be looking at your watch to be like, oh God, how much longer is this? No, you'll be like, oh, I'm savoring it, man. I'm savoring it. It was such a great film. So, just being aware of the foreign box office, we might as well get into the bulk of the main domestic box office here. So let's get into that. For the weekend of July 21st to the 23rd, the top 5 at the weekend's box office were: number 1 was Barbie, number 2 was Oppenheimer, number 3 was Sound of Freedom, number 4 was Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, and number 5 was Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. So Barbie coming in at 155. they got to be happy with that. Let's start off with that, guys. Barbie, 155 domestically, but internationally, we see that it also fared fairly well, right? 182 million internationally. So, again, the studio executives are sometimes bend over backwards to try to gain the China and like the Korean box offices. Mostly they try to get the China one, but it's kind of like you don't have to twist yourself into pretzels to appease them just to get that box office. You don't. Spider-Man No Way Home proves that. Barbie is proving that. You don't need those hauls to make the real cheddar. You just got to make good movies, man. You got to make movies that people react to, and stop giving us this kind of like fare where it's like it's a rinse and repeat of the MCU machine. Oh, it's a young guy down on his luck. He gets a superhero suit, or Captain Marvel gets her superhero suit. She fights a bad guy, defeats the bad guy, and that's it. No. People are done with that, and they got to revise that somehow, because that's a tired formula. But anyway, I'm ragging here. Let's continue on with Barbie's overall success of 337 worldwide for a budget of 145. It's pretty much, well, it's doubled, more than doubled it. So that's a success, because that's just the opening weekend, and it's going to have positive word of mouth, 90%. Across the board there from critics and audience alike. So people are coming out of this, they're happy, they're like it's a communal experience. As I said, when you're in theater, you're gonna be laughing and clapping at the same time as some other people, and you'll be like, oh, people are clapping at that, people appreciate that. And it's kind of like the demographics for this is going to appeal to, it appeals to certain demographics, but I think it's an enjoyable experience for everybody. If you're a movie fan, you want to check this out. If you're a Margot Robbie fan, you want to check this out. If you're a Barbie fan, go check this out. If those things don't appeal to you, if you don't like to hear, positive female empowerment messages, then this movie's not going to be for you. There are going to be a few detractors, but it's not impacting it much. There are people out there that will be like, oh, Barbie sucks, Barbie hates men. No, not. Well, did you not watch the movie? Because they kind of address all of that stuff within the movie, guys. You just maybe didn't like the message. It didn't reinforce the ones that you already had. So, it's not going to be an issue. And I would suspect that there's going to be probably a sequel. The studio, if Barbie makes $1 billion, yes, of course it'll be a sequel. Even if it makes 500 million on a $145 million budget, the studios will be happy with that. I'll be happy with that. I'll be kind of like, congratulations, Margot Robbie. You just blew that out of the water. 155 million. It's just, wow for Barbie, and I'm overjoyed. I couldn't be happier. But it wasn't the only movie opening up this week. Oppenheimer came in the second spot. That was pretty much the way that I thought it was going to go. No, actually, I thought that Mission Impossible was going to hang on to the second spot. So remember on Friday when I put down that bet, is Oppenheimer going to make more than $40 million? Because I thought that Mission Impossible would be around 40 million, and it's around 19.5. So that's not good for Mission Impossible. We'll talk about that later in the show too. But Oppenheimer, so people who took the over under at the 40 million for Oppenheimer, they would have been paid off if you took the over, because most people were like, well, it's going to do well, but I don't know if it'll make 40 million. Well, it just blew that out of the water. 80 million people, as I said, my theater was packed, and I hear people going out to the IMAX screenings with the actual real prints, and they're having like technical issues and stuff like that. But that doesn't deter them. They want to go out and see another show at another time to make sure they can see that in that print. And I think it would only look that much more gorgeous. My God, I saw it on the big screen. I saw it on a huge AVX screen. It was like I saw this in Toronto, guys. So this was like a big, huge screen that I saw it on. I was really, I was down near the front, not near up in the back or anything, but it was like I was like fully immersed into it. And when the sound design of the booms and the shaking of the seats, it was just like, oh my God, it was just mesmerizing film. Oppenheimer, 80.5 domestically, 174.1 worldwide. Oppenheimer had a budget of around 100 million, so they're licking their chops on this one too. It's going to have positive word of mouth. Everybody's coming out of Oppenheimer with even better results than Barbie. It's kind of like, you got to check this movie out, man. As I said, it's a historical piece. I don't know if I really want to watch that. It's 3 hours. I don't really want to watch this. Every now and then I say, well, the movie's got to earn that 3 hours, right? Oppenheimer earns that 3 hours. And you'll just be like mesmerized. You'll be kind of like shocked at the end of like, I really enjoyed that. But a lot of stuff was going on. It's a lot to digest. I'll grant you that. There's a lot of story tropes that move around in the beginning where it's kind of like, where's this going? Is this going to do anything? And it does. It's set up for like later on in the story where everything just comes into focus. You got all these pieces floating around and Nolan just focuses it in, and you're just mesmerized by the acting, mostly from Cillian Murphy. Give him props again. My God. I hope he gets nominated for this because it's a weird, nuanced performance. It's not as if there's a big scene in there where he's going over the top with his emotions and just letting it all flow out. It's all kind of like this reserved, behind his eyes. There's this big weight of guilt, like, oh my God, I just can't believe I did this. Kind of feeling like there's like that. Oh, like seriously, I can't believe this. But that feeling is always hiding behind his eyes, and he does such a great job of like conveying that to you as the audience. I hope he gets nominated, and sound design wise too. I hope, like, it's just going to get technical stuff. Emily Blunt is so great in this too. Emily Blunt had so many great scenes towards the end of this film. She did. Florence Pugh was also good in this. She delivers that part of the movie for us. I've seen other people review. That's all they talk about is Florence Pugh and those scenes. And it's kind of like, guys, there's more than that. It is adult fare when it comes to the end. Like, this is not one where you want to take your kids to, and they would be bored by it. But as movie fans and appreciation, if you got an appreciation for the higher film genre, like as an art form, then yeah, you'll like Oppenheimer. So that's well deserved. 174 million. So looking at the box office results, I'm happy with this weekend. Barbenheimer, it's a huge success, man. The real meaning of Barbenheimer. People like that caught on. That hashtag, it caught on. People took in the double features this weekend. It wasn't like that for Mission Impossible or Indiana Jones. So kudos, congrats. And they're going to be going up against Talk to Me and Haunted Mansion next week, right? Yeah, Haunted Mansion comes out Thursday, and so does Talk to Me. Now, I'm looking forward to Talk to Me more than I am, say, Haunted Mansion, because that's that Disney version of kind of like a reboot of their Haunted Mansion ride thing. But it's got a great cast: Rosario Dawson, Owen Wilson, Danny DeVito. I'll be watching it. I just don't know if I'll be kind of like... Haunted Mansion doesn't have the same buzz as Barbie and Oppenheimer, right? It doesn't, like, nobody's buzzing about it. The trailers didn't do that job, right? Marketing needs to change up their strategies with their trailers. But Talk to Me has been getting good buzz. But horror movies traditionally they're not going to come out and make 40 million usually. Smile did. Like, there is that odd one. And Talk to Me sort of has that Smile, not quite. It's almost there. Because Smile had that cultural thing where it's kind of like, why is that girl smiling like that? And like, people were talking about it. Not so much with this one. Like, it's got the inner genre fans, the horror fans talking where, yeah, the buzz around this is great. It's got directors who started out on YouTube and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, it's got that intrigue to it. It's not quite there yet. So I don't expect it to have a huge impact. So I think Barbie's going to retain number one. And I even think that Oppenheimer might retain number two. Yeah, because Haunted Mansion would have to make more than 40 million. You would think that Haunted Mansion is the bigger one out of these two, out of Talk to Me and Haunted Mansion. It may be, because it is sort of family friendly, but it deals with ghosts, right? I don't know, man. I think it's going to go Barbie, Oppenheimer. I think Sound of Freedom is going to finally finish out its run here. It's not climbing anymore. It's kind of leveled out. It is retaining the top 5 spot because Sound of Freedom, as I said, it's not going to have a big international take. It's all domestic fare. So that one I think should start to begin its decline here. So I'm hoping it'll be Barbie, Oppenheimer, Talk to Me, Haunted Mansion, and then probably Sound of Freedom will top out the top 5. I'd hope like Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning was not that far from Sound of Freedom. And Mission Impossible has only been out for 2 weeks now, guys. So it's kind of like it should. Mission Impossible should hold on to the 5th spot. It should, and that's one of the things that we'll talk about in just a little bit. Should it or shouldn't it? But let's digress here for a quick second and talk about Christopher Nolan. And while we're on the topic of Oppenheimer, there, people have up on Joe Blow have posted a poll for your favorite Christopher Nolan film. Now, this is probably very topical right now because it's Oppenheimer weekend, but this will be influenced by, I just recently saw Oppenheimer and it was so good, so it's got to be number 1. Is that the way it's going to go? I haven't voted yet, so it is up there for me, though. It's better than Tenet. It's better than Dunkirk. Between that and Interstellar is also really good, but I think Oppenheimer is better than Interstellar. Interstellar, though, has that emotional heart. The father-daughter story of Interstellar, though, is so powerful. Dark Knight Rises, man. I like it, but Inception is still my number 1, I think. And then probably Dark Knight. And then probably Oppenheimer. So, what would you guys say? So mine would be Inception, Dark Knight, Oppenheimer, Prestige, and Batman Begins. Those are my top 5. Let me know your guys' in the comments below. Let's submit the vote and see what happens. What do you guys think? Dark Knight is number 1. And I don't fault people for that. I mean, Heath Ledger's Joker, it is a masterpiece. Dark Knight is a masterpiece. But for me, it's Inception. And Interstellar, as I said, it's up there. So where's Oppenheimer? Oh, Oppenheimer's all the way down there. Huh. Yeah, it doesn't have as broad of appeal as, say, like a Dark Knight or as an Inception. But I know that Interstellar is going to be up there, too, because that father-daughter dynamic there, when he's driving away from them, the kids in the beginning, I get choked up just thinking about it because McConaughey's performance. And then when he sees, like, the video of her all grown up, yeah, Interstellar is also well worthy of being up there. So if you guys voted in that poll, let me know if you did. What was your top 5? What was your ranking for Nolan films? And I would expect that the following down here is, because not many people saw the following. Insomnia. It didn't even really feel like a Nolan film. It had Al Pacino and Robin Williams in it, so that was kind of cool. It was a serviceable film. It wasn't mind-blowing or anything. It's not like Inception where you're just like, how did they do that? It's not as captivating as Dark Knight for sure. So, interesting little poll, guys. Did you guys see that poll? Let me know in the comments. For sure, I want to know what you guys thought about that. So, just checking out the stream health. It seems like we're fine. Seems like we're going fine. All right. All right. So, we got a little bit of a fallout here from the box office. And this fallout is dealing with Mission Impossible. So, because Mission Impossible did drop down from the 1st spot all the way down to the 4th spot, a 64% drop. That's not good. And I'm not going to bore you with the historical precedents of the Mission Impossible franchise, but it's not only got me talking. It's Mission Impossible box office. Can Dead Reckoning rebound from Barbenheimer? Well, it's going to be going up against Haunted Mansion and Talk to Me as well next weekend. But here's the other thing I want to talk about. Is that when people are doing these calculations, they're not also considering Sound of Freedom that's just been hanging in there. So basically, it's going to have to beat 5 films next week to stay into the top 5. Oh, yeah, no kidding, James. That's what you have to do to be in the top 5. Beat 5 other films. Can it? I'm hopeful that it can. I think it will flip flop between Sound of Freedom and Mission Impossible next week because Sound of Freedom has had its run. I just 370 million, and that's what was the budget that I heard it was for Mission Impossible. It was like 250 something, 295, I think. So it has crossed the normal budget, but it's got to make about double of that to make its budget back. The runtime maybe really affected Mission Impossible because this was 2 hours and 43 minutes. But it didn't affect Oppenheimer, James. That's the thing, man. It's just Tom Cruise delivering top tier stunts. Didn't get the big draw. Was it the marketing? You should have shown that the bicycle jump, the motorcycle jump in the trailers. They did. I don't fault them back for that. I don't understand that. Maybe people just didn't know what the bad guy was going to be. They didn't know what the threat was going to be, maybe. But I had a lot of fun with Dead Reckoning. So can it beat it back? It's going up against some horror movies this week. If it had that big of a drop on that second week, a 64% drop. Remember, Mission Impossible had a 5-day weekend opening in like the UK and stuff, right? So it had a bit more of a box office for the domestic total. And then, like, the buzz for it. Nobody's talking about it, right? Barbie and Oppenheimer has sucked the fuel out of everybody's mouth for talking about movies and going to movies. And people just don't have the money to go every week, right? That's the thing, too. Can it rebound? Let's see what some of these people are saying here. Tumbled a franchise worst. And remember, people were last week were like saying, it's the franchise best. It's the 5-day best 5-day total ever. Now it's got the franchise worst. Do you think those people that spun those videos last week are going to also do the same this week? Do you think they will? Are they going to be fair about it? I'm fair about it. I'm being fair, and I'm trying to give that optimistic appraisal, saying that it will flip flop between Sound of Freedom, but it'll come into the 5th spot, I think. It's worth seeing. It's fun. I don't think that story has been written yet. Well, it has, and it's not looking bright for the Mission Impossible series, because as I said, Haunted Mansion, Talk to Me, plus Leftover. Remember, people who were Barbie and Oppenheimer are going to have the holdovers, right? Because there's always people that are like, well, I'll wait till the next weekend so it won't be as busy. Those people are going to go out again, and it's going to go out this coming weekend because the horror movies are not going to appeal to those people. Appeal to us as movie fans. But my God, the fate for Mission Impossible. I understand that Tom Cruise was mad that Oppenheimer was taking out all the IMAX theaters and stuff. I can understand that because it just reduces the amount of showings. It's only 4 a day now. And that's another drawback of having long films. Could Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning be told in 2 hours? Could it have been told in 1 hour and 45 minutes? I believe it could have been. There's a small mentality out there from some executives where if the movie's long, people automatically associate that with it being epic. If it's that long, it's got to be an epic film. Not necessarily, man. It's got to earn that 3 hours. It's got to earn that long run time. And Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, John Wick earned that. I think John Wick Chapter 4 earned that long run time. But Mission Impossible, I felt like maybe that one could have been dialed back too. It could have. With some tweaking of the script. But anyway, I digress about that. Those are the big ones opening up next weekend, and it doesn't spell it's just looking grim for Mission Impossible. Now, I do think that eventually, just like Little Mermaid did, um, I do believe that Mission Impossible throughout the like through August here, there's not that many openings, and we're in the full swing here of summer for like kids off school. They'll pick it up on the weekend, on the second or third or fourth, even maybe fifth or sixth weekend. They'll be like, oh, I've seen all the other movies. I didn't see Mission Impossible yet, so it'll limp across the break even line. Because as I said, Little Mermaid has, and people were coming out of videos about that saying, oh, it's a complete box office bomb, but no. It did have a higher budget of like 200 and something million, but it's made more than double that back. So it has quietly made a small profit, very minor, which is good. I'm happy for that. I really am. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny has not, because the budget for that was reported up to be around 350 million. They say 295, but it's really around 350 after all the reportings have come in. So it hasn't even made its production budget back. Then that's not including marketing, and that's not including like there's just no buzz. There's like marketing really let down these two films of Mission Impossible and Indiana Jones, because it's not like Barbie. Like you didn't see people dressed up with their leather jackets and fedoras kind of thing. You didn't see that. It's not that cultural event. Somehow that just the perfect ingredients combined came together for Barbenheimer. And it's good. It's good for them. It's good for the theatrical experience. It's not good for certain theaters though. It's not good for Mission Impossible. It's not good for Indiana Jones. So can it rebound? My answer is no. But it will in the long run limp, crawl, struggling across broken glass. Mission Impossible will, I think, eventually break even. Yeah, so that's what we got going. All right, guys, that's pretty much all I got in for the box office. Chris Schober says, do you think Scream 7 isn't going to be delayed because of the strike, James? Well, they haven't even written the script for Scream 7, so it is officially delayed because the writers aren't working. The only way it couldn't be is that if somebody like me who just likes to write scripts has written the script for Scream 7, somehow the studio executives will read it when the strike ends and be like, oh, that's the script we want, which is not going to happen because they have to go through proper channels. They got to go through the writers union before they can accept that script. It's like, yeah. There's the bureaucracy of it all. That's kind of like, anyway, guys, we are a movie news channel, movie talk channel. There are other things here on the channel that you can take a look at. We do full movie reactions for things like Bird Box and Bird Box Barcelona and Black Widow. We need to do a watch along this week, maybe. I'm thinking about doing that new Netflix movie with Jamie Foxx and John Boyega. We're going to wrap up Secret Invasion this week, episode 6, the finale for that. Nobody is watching that one, but I am, and I'm really enjoying it. I think that it's a great series. And of course, my reviews for Mission Impossible, Insidious, The Red Door, Joyride are up there, and I need to put in the new thumbnails for that as well, for the updated. So far, this month, my favorite movie, it's got to probably be Oppenheimer, man. My favorite movie so far. Because I gave Oppenheimer a 9.5. It's that good of a movie, man. What's my second favorite? Is it Barbie? I think it'd probably be Barbie. Yeah, Oppenheimer, Barbie, Mission Impossible. I liked Insidious, The Red Door. Joyride was sort of okay. Indiana Jones, then. That's 6, right? Yeah. Oh, no. We saw Bird Box Barcelona. Barcelona. So, no. It would be Oppenheimer, Barbie, Bird Box Barcelona, And then what did I say? Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, and then Insidious: The Red Door. Yeah, that's what the. Well, we'll get towards. I'll publish my best of the month at the end of the month here, after I see Haunted Mansion and Talk to Me. But what do you guys rank the movie so far? It's been a pretty good month. Like July's been doing a lot better than June has, right? June was kind of like meh. It had some good stuff, but yeah, for sure. Let's talk about James Gunn and the DCU. James Gunn denies packing Superman Legacy with DC characters to attract buyers. Shoots down rumors of new Justice League live action film. Well, if Superman Legacy comes out and bombs, there's no talk of a live action Justice League. Yeah, that'll be dead in the water. In fact, all of his movies will be dead in the water. If Superman comes out and bombs, like has a monumental bomb, just like Indiana Jones, like that kind of a disastrous bomb. For some reason, if they spend 200 plus on Superman Legacy, and it doesn't make that back, because it's not as if James Gunn makes bad films. He does. He makes good films. Like I liked his Suicide Squad. I liked Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which I think is his best Guardians movie. But while that had like the franchise on it to help it make profit, people just didn't go out to see Suicide Squad. And it was a good movie, man. It was a really good fun time. People are just kind of disenchanted with the whole superhero stuff right now. And unfortunately, movies like Blue Beetle and Aquaman 2 are going to bear the brunt of that. They're going to be responsible for part of it too, because they're just going to be under that umbrella of the old DCU regime, where it's kind of like the common sentiment is that universe is dead, and there's really no point in carrying it on anymore. So why are these two movies coming out, kind of thing, right? Just people don't know. That's the cultural zeitgeist understanding of what the situation is. So yeah, we hear the casting of like there's going to be like these other weird abstract superheroes in there. There's going to be a version of Green Lantern in there, Green Lantern in there, and Hawk Girl, Mr. Terrific. And it's like, what do these people have to do with Superman? And it's kind of like, that's the main question, right? So maybe they shouldn't have announced these things. Will it appeal to the casual fan? Maybe not. I don't know. I'll just see. Gunn said and saw the report he denied Threads on Threads, not Twitter. Of course not. Of course he didn't. He just said simply no. There's no DC or Justice League movie in the works. Well, there should be. Shouldn't that be the end game of where you're driving the universe towards a Justice League movie? Like that's just we've been conditioned to think that because of the Avengers movies, right? All of these movies have to be directed towards an Avengers movie. Why wouldn't the DCU be directed towards a Justice League movie? Why would that not be the formula? That seems a little bit confusing to me. And why would you not acknowledge that? Huh? Because people want to see the Justice League. They want to see Superman fight along Wonder Woman and Batman. It's just make a good movie, not some weird thing with some foreign family hiding underneath of a table. Like, for God's sakes. Anyway, do you? Oh, by the way, that Barbie movie, when they drop that Easter egg about, oh, I feel like I'm a fan caught up in Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's like that got laughs in the theater. It did. Well, let's see what the comments are here. Did you really think the head of the studio would ever publicly admit to even his if they did? Granted, Gunn clearly is the writer and not a studio head. Yeah, okay. Always remember that this is the guy who said The Flash was the best superhero movie ever seen. Yeah, you maybe... Gunn did say that, right? Best superhero movie ever made? Nope. I like the Flash. I appreciated the Flash. I agreed with with everybody saying that the visual effects was really, really subpar. That they shouldn't even done that. But best ever, no. So some people are coming up to rebut him. He was right about that one, son. The Flash is objectively one of the best comic book movies ever made. Objectively, oh. Well, the only thing you can really rate objectively about a film is the light quality, the uh, the sound quality. You can measure those objectively. Is it loud enough? Is it too loud? You can measure those. But your opinion of it, like, there's nobody out there that'll doubt that if you have it cranked so that the microphones are all peaking and it's all fuzzy, that the sound mix sucks. That's objectively true, right? But if it's like, oh, those booms and the booming noises and the explosions in Oppenheimer were too loud for me, well, that's just your opinion. For me, I thought it was spectacular, right? However, James has nothing really working on has nothing really working on Superman Legacy other than Brosnahan and Lois as Lois and the Return of Superman in character. Cavill's dour, depressing, and butthurt version of Cal was complete and utter trash. But that was, and oddly enough, guys, as much as that was Snyder's take on it, Christopher Nolan had a hand in that. Christopher Nolan said, "Well, shouldn't you do a Superman that? How would the world react if Superman was here?" And Snyder took that and ran with it, right? And that's what we got for Superman or Man of Steel. Oh God, I said it when they tried to reimagine Superman, and you don't need to do that. They changed the lore, like his father dying in a tornado. Like, no, even if he got picked up, Clark could have ran and got him. And nobody would have saw him. Like, he could have done it in such a way that nobody would have saw. It's like, you got to go back to the heart attack stuff, man, because that's the bittersweetness of it. Because he could have saved him in the tornado, but he could not, despite all of his powers. Superman cannot save his old man dying from a heart attack. That's nature. That's just what happens. All of his powers couldn't do that, and that ate away at him in the original version, and they got rid of that for some reason. And make that the backbone of the new Superman. Do that, right? I got all these powers, but I can't stop nature from happening. You can't. You have to. There's certain things that you got to accept. And Snyder kind of really, yeah, he screwed the pooch on that one. Anyway, people's tastes in films are subjective. Yeah, we heard that. I reiterated that. The reconciliation of Kryptonian heritage with human upbringing has been addressed in previous Superman films, including Man of Steel. So Gunn isn't blazing any new territory here yet. That too. This too. Because he said that this movie, Superman Legacy, is going to be more about, his balancing his heritage with his trying to live with humans and such. Well, yeah, we've done that part before too. So it's kind of like, he flat out lied, Carl says. Of course he did, but you can't blame him. He's got to promote every movie. That's part of his job. Nobody says, don't watch this movie. It's a pile of garbage ahead of the movie. Well, some people do. Some people were saying that about Barbie before it came out. They're like, I heard this about it, so don't go out and see it. It's like, get out of here with that. Anyway, they wait until enough time has passed and they admit to it being a blazing trash fire. Wrong! Man of Steel did a little of that. Why are you lying? Who's lying? Who lied? What? Man of Steel did little of what? Addressing his upbringing, his human upbringing? They totally addressed that. When he's talking about the school bus with his old man. What was I supposed to do? Let them die? And when she's talking to him in the closet and stuff, trying to teach him to deal with the super hearing and stuff. Of course they did. It's Black Man 2.0. It's Justice Society. Replace Batman with BA with Superman. It's also boring, some people are saying. Stop watching. Okay. Is that what she rags on? I don't watch a lot of her videos. I scroll by her page just to see what she's been talking about because she's part of this punditry fandom kind of stuff that we do, right? So it's like I keep an eye on things. I don't really watch a lot of her stuff because she's got this thing that she doesn't like Jessica Chastain. I like Jessica Chastain, so there you go. Develop your own ideas when Black Adam isn't like Superman. Well, so yeah, there's the salty tips of both fandoms right there, squaring off with each other. So they're always present. They're always around. I never brought on these. Yeah, we've heard the reports that these characters are meant to support the Superman story. Again, it's not hard, guys. I don't know why they try to make it more epic than it needs to be. It doesn't. Or maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe that's. Yeah. Anyway, some live comments here. Crystal Brightford says, "Hey, how's it going? Witcher season 3 official trailer 2 is out on YouTube. I never watched any of the seasons of Witcher. Brad Pitt is still filming his Formula One racing during the strike. Well, that's because it's for Apple TV Plus. And there's been some exemptions to the strike. We'll take a look around for that stuff in just a bit. Chris Shore says the Superman news for James Gunn sounds kind of good, but cheesy though, James. Yeah. There is something about like or is it Dr. Fantastic or something? The stretchy, Mr. Terrific. Like silly. There's a silliness to it that, as a casual fan of the superhero genre, somebody would read that and be like, "What is he? Is he like Stretch Armstrong? What does he do?" You know that Gunn knows the character enough that when he appears on screen, you'll be like, "Oh, okay, that's Mr. Terrific." Why didn't we hear about this guy before? That's cool. That's what most of our reactions will be. But the casual, off the cuff reaction is kind of like, "Ugh, why? Why? I thought this was a Superman movie. Why is he bringing all these other characters in?" That's what this headline basically is, right? Yeah. All right. Let's get back into Jamie Foxx. This came out on Friday actually, and I never talked about it. But Jamie Foxx speaks about his health scare. "I went to hell and back," he says. Wow. Fans give an update on his recovery. Medical complication. He took to Instagram on Friday to reveal his condition. "I cannot even begin," quote, "I cannot even begin to tell you how far it took me and how it brought me back. I went through something that I thought I would never go through," Foxx said. He thanks the fans for his prayers and stuff. To continue on, quote, "I just didn't want you to see me like that. I want you to see me laughing, having a good time, partying, cracking a joke during a movie and a television show. I just didn't want you to see me with tubes running out of me and trying to figure out if I was going to make it through." Well, we didn't want to see that either, Jamie. And it's good to see that he was up and about on the boat and walking around now, and he's back. And it's hard to see because he's a good dude, right? Everything you hear about this guy, he's a true mensch, right? And I like his work too. I even liked him in Amazing Spider-Man 2. And it was cool that he got a little bit of a reprieve for No Way Home in that too. Django, great work. And so maybe we will watch that Netflix movie this week. Maybe tomorrow even. If there's no movie news tomorrow, we'll watch that Netflix movie with him. What was it called? It was a weird title. Teen Soldier. They cloned Tyrone. Yeah. They cloned Tyrone. A series of eerie events thrust an unlikely trio into an untrail of a nefarious government conspiracy and the pulpy mystery keeper. So maybe we'll watch this tomorrow, guys. What do you think about that? If we watch this tomorrow at 10 a.m. How long is this? It's 2 hours, so we'd have to watch it earlier than that, guys. 9:30 tomorrow. They clone Tyrone. I'd have to get material. I'd have to download materials. Kiefer Sutherland's in this. Oh, we're watching this then. we're watching this movie. That's it. It's settled. It's done. Um, tomorrow maybe. Either tomorrow or Thursday, depending on how busy the. I'll look at the headlines tomorrow and we'll make the decision then. They cloned Tyrone Parents Guide. Let's see if there's any nudity, sex and nudity 5. Oh, I don't know. Maybe not then. Two of the main characters are pimp and prostitute, although they are not shown. They are implied to have many encounters. Okay, so maybe it is a little bit too racy. Naked people are shown walking into a crowd of people. Not very graphic. So there are stuff there. So maybe I shouldn't risk it. It does sound interesting, though. Jamie Foxx, I do want to see him back. So my road to recovery, he says, had some potholes as well, but I'm coming back and I'm able to work. Well, that's good. Because he's got that other movie coming out with dogs, right? He's one of the voices of the dogs in that movie. Right? What's that movie Nate called? Unfortunately, that movie's got no buzz either. Strays, right? That comes out next month. That movie has no. It's got like no buzz. Nobody's talking about it. It's gonna have like some people going out to see it. No, yeah, no kidding, James. Some people are gonna see every movie. No, I mean like, this is gonna have like the crass crowd that goes out to see movies like the Jackass movies and stuff. It'll have that crowd, and then the hour and 30-hour runtime there is totally appealing to me for that one. Will Ferrell just had Barbie. He was in Barbie, so that's a success for that. Yeah, so he's, oh God, Haley Atwell. That's not Haley Atwell. Anyway, there you go. Jamie Foxx on the mend. That's good news. According to me, it is. Okay. Moving on. Twitter. Elon Musk says Twitter will soon change its brand to X. So is Twitter officially dead? What's going on here? Quote, soon we shall bid adieu to Twitter branding and gradually all the birds, Musk tweeted. What? So it's not going to be Twitter anymore? It's just going to be called X? What the hell is going on here? Musk, the billionaire owner of Twitter, said in a series of tweets late Saturday, he's going to rebrand the social platform to be X. Just kind of like what? The way Facebook and Instagram are supposed to be Meta now? Is that the way they're going to do it? People will still call it Twitter. It's good enough. X logo is posted tonight. We'll make it live worldwide tomorrow. I haven't even seen it. Tell me you got a picture of this X. There it is. It's not really a big deal for me. I'm slowly, I guess, trying to put together my Threads account. The fewer that the social media platforms there are, the better for me, because I have to post all this stuff up on these channels. Twitter, I think these are the twilight days for Twitter. I think if he gets, I don't know what will save Twitter. The only thing that will really maybe save it is if he sells it. If he's not part of it, and they change course and revert back to putting in all the. Yeah, I don't. It's the twilight days for Twitter, I think. And what do you guys think about that? Do you care about that? I'm just talking about because we are part of. It is part of our little world here, because we are a social media platform ourselves here on YouTube. Just have to be aware of what else is all going on. So I don't really have that much more on today, guys. Just thought we'd take a look at some of the Reddit roundup here. Spielberg and HBO doing a 7-part miniseries about Napoleon based on Kubrick's script. Oh yes, I do remember that Stanley Kubrick was working on a Napoleon story, but a 7-part miniseries about Napoleon now. This content has been removed. What? Much like celebrity deaths plot, movie plots come in twos. Well, yeah, because we're getting that Joaquin Phoenix movie with Ridley Scott about uh, Napoleon. So there's a bit of a redundancy there, right? That happens. You got two asteroid movies. You got two volcano movies. That happens. Greta Gerwig makes history as Barbie's biggest opening weekend for a film directed by a woman. Oh, I didn't know that. Congrats. Kudos to Greta Gerwig, and it's well deserved. There she is right there. I guess the Guardian's got this big bland thing up here. I can't take a look at that, but that's great. Oh, God. Margot Robbie. Congrats. Kudos to Greta Gerwig for that. 25 years of Saving Private Ryan. Opening scene remains cinema's most brutal depiction of war. Indeed, it does. 25 years ago, for Saving Private Ryan. I remember I went to see that movie, and I had been out late the night before with the mates, and I was nursing a small hangover. It didn't do any good. I was sitting in the theater, and the camera was going like this. I was like, oh, jeez. But it was effective. Yeah, and it was like horrific. Spielberg captured the horrific nature of war in that opening scene for sure. 3 people died on the Twilight Zone movie under negligent direction of John Landis after he ordered a helicopter's tall rotor directly over stage FX explosives, bringing down the helicopter, decapitating 2 and crushing other to death. If I heard about that, I forgot about it. Yeah, that's tragedy. Is Van Helsing a good movie or a good bad movie? It's just an outright bad movie. Van Helsing, it's only got one redeeming part here, and that's Kate Beckinsale, right? Now, talking about bad CGI, Van Helsing was a case of some really bad CGI. I understand what they were trying to go for. They were trying to go for that mummy vibe of having it fun, but like the CGI didn't do this movie any favors. But Kate Beckinsale was worth checking this movie out. But I think it kind of knew what it was. They knew that it wasn't a serious movie. It is what it is. Late Night with the Devil for David Dastmalchian. Why the hell did The Northman perform so poorly in theaters last year? It was A24. It didn't have like a big budget for marketing and stuff. They knew that it wasn't going to be a wide appeal. I liked The Northman. It was breathtakingly beautiful. Robert Eggers, again, that's another director that up there where I'll watch any work of his. He's got to be in the top 10. Right? The Witch, The Lighthouse. And I think it's probably one of his better films, right? Philip Seymour Hoffman is still the master of remembering his wife best. Ethan Hunt is hilariously out of character in Mission Impossible 2. Well, we know that because of the John Woo experiment. What are some professions that are frequently demonized in Hollywood? Internal affairs. Yeah, that one gets demonized. Tax agents. Boo. Half in the Bag. Oh, that's Red Letter Media. I don't watch them that much. Lots of people do. They got good production values. It just gets a little bit silly at times. Like that's the guys hanging out in the garage with a couple of beers, slamming stuff, right? It's got its audience for sure. What's your favorite This Changed What Was Possible movie example? What? Jurassic Park, convincing use of hybrid CG and animatronics. Matrix, enhancements to CGI, like the bullet time. Well, I appreciate it as much as I don't think that Avatar, the series, is a great series. I appreciate everything Cameron does about pushing the visual effects envelope and pushing technologies, making new technologies, right? That's what I respect. Citizen Kane, people want to go back all the way to that one. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, 1937, first feature-length animated movie. Lord of the Rings, filmed all 3 movies at once. Yeah, that's kind of an interesting topic. All right, guys, do I have anything more? No, there really isn't that much more that I might have missed. And it's almost 11:30, so I thought we would just go through the hit or miss. I thought I would play some guitar, but I guess we got through most of the stories. Elizabeth Olsen, Carrie Coon, and Natasha Lyonne star as sisters who reunite after their father's death. Our health declines, and Azriel Jacobs has 3 daughters. I don't know much about Carrie Coon, but I know Natasha Lyonne and Elizabeth Olsen. That's cool. Those 2 working together. Really 2 good actresses. Oops, sorry, you guys can't see that. Oh, no, you can't see Natasha there. She's right there. There you go. Cool, man. I just watched a new documentary called Living with Chucky. It was really interesting. Chris Schober says in the live chat. Good. First look at fingernails. Riz Ahmed. Jessie Buckley, I'll watch anything with her in it. The film is about our desire for certainty, reliance on technology, and the price we pay for losing the connection to our most primal instincts. Jessie Buckley is, she's going to be good in the future too. Expect, hopefully someday, that she'll get awards considerations too. Because she was good last year in Men. I liked her in Men, but also Women Talking, right? Riz Ahmed is also really good. Next, first look at Ezra, premiering at TIFF. Tony Goldwyn, Robert De Niro, Rose Byrne, and Bobby Cannavale. Now, TIFF, that's one that's going to suffer this year too, because that's just around the corner, and actors won't be able to go and promote their films there. So it's kind of like, is there any point in going there? Don Cherry, why is this trend? People are going to be ragging about him, right? Don Cherry will always be a Canadian icon, loved and by the best Canadians and hated by the worst Canadians. I agree with that. Because he got canceled for just using the term "you people." There's a movie called "You People," so if I said the movie "You People," are people going to try to cancel me? And when he said that term "you people," they don't notice that people don't get angry about the context in which he was saying it. They try to infer that he was talking about it in a very offensive way, but he was just saying, like, those people over there, those people, like that, right? New people to the country that don't know our customs don't wear the poppy on Remembrance Day. So he's saying those people over there, you people don't wear them. And people took that, ran with it, and said, no, he actually meant Jewish people. No, he actually meant Muslim people. He hates people. It's like, that's what happened to him. Yes, he was loud. He was obnoxious. He said offensive quotes sometimes. But he was just trying to promote our cultures here in Canada, that we wear poppies on Remembrance Day for fallen soldiers. That's all he was trying to do. So people got on him. People didn't like him because he was loudmouth, and and when that happens, they try to come after you. And I'm progressive. I'm definitely not conservative. But there are conservative things about me that were like, I stand up for Don Cherry. I do. First look at Kitty Green's thriller The Royal Hotel, Juliet Garner and Jessica Henwick. Inspired by true events, it follows two friends who decide to get jobs at a sketchy pub after they run out of money while backpacking. Julia Garner. She was going to play Madonna, but that movie got canceled. She's a good actress, right? Ozark. And Jessica Henwick. She was in Matrix was it Resurrections? She was good in that. Right? Yes? No? Yeah? Judy Comer, Joel Fry. The end we start from. When an environmental crisis sees London submerged by floods, a woman and her baby try to get home. Well, that'll be interesting. Well, devastating, but good cast. Mark Strong, Jodie Comer. Is she going to be our Invisible Woman? I don't know. First look at Kate Winslet in Lee. It centers on Lee Miller, who traded a glamorous career as a model for a dangerous career as a World War II photographer. Well, that's cool. No, I'll watch that. Again, you know, there's going to be people like saying, yeah, no, I'm not going to go into that. Kate Winslet, top tier talent for sure. Stellar in everything she does, right? All right. Guys, that's 11:32. Emily Blunt, David Yates' Pain Hustlers will premiere at TIFF. Well, I do like Emily Blunt. Chris Evans. Andy Garcia. Good cast. God, Emily Blunt. And she said that she was going to take a break from acting, right? That sucks. That's a loss. Dumb Money will be at TIFF. So it sounds like they're going to still go ahead with TIFF despite the strikes. Like the writer strike and actor strike. Barbie debuts. Huge opening. Yep, we know that. Oppenheimer debuts. Big opening. And that brings us pretty much full circle, guys. Michael Philippou, Danny and Michael claimed or Talk to Me stars. This opens up this week. Yeah, we know about that. A censored version of Oppenheimer is being screened in several countries with a CGI black dress covering Florence Pugh. Really? So this is CGI dress. Yeah, because this is the nudity part in the film, guys. She's actually naked here. So that's a CGI dress. Huh. How about that? That'll end up the show. If you got to do what you got to do, right? Was the nudity necessary? No, but it helps set the tone for the scene of two adults who just had relations, just sitting there naked in front of each other. It's very raw, honest. It adds that to that scene for sure. I liked Oppenheimer a lot. All right, guys. So that's pretty much it for me today. I don't really got that much more. Let me just see if there's any new trailers that dropped. I can tell you a few news stuff here. I just recently downloaded Street Fighter 6 for my computer. So I've been playing it over the weekend. I'm going to try to test run a stream of it here. I don't know if today, this week, I'm going to be busy most of the week, but I am going to be gaming, guys. I will be gaming soon. So Street Fighter 6, it's good. It's fun, man. It's slick. It truly is. So we'll be looking forward to that going on. And I'm going to be live and animated and when I'm getting beat up and stuff like that. So don't worry about that. I'm very passionate when it comes to this kind of thing. I'm also going to be downloading the new Final Fantasy Reboot 7 Part 1. So we'll be doing that in August. It's going to be fun times, man. So I'm going to have to set up a couple of new pages. There's going to be Mirror Domains Music and Mirror Domains Gaming. So I'll be streaming the gamings on Twitch, but I'll be porting it over to YouTube later on. I think most gamers do that. Yeah. There's no point in gaming on YouTube because people just don't use gaming on YouTube. Let me just see. Is there? No? Let's see if we... Is there someone playing Street Fighter 6 live? How many people are watching it? 11K views. It debuted a month ago and it's still live? No, that's not live. Show me live. Okay, so one person's watching there. 411 people are watching there. So yeah, I'll be doing like this kind of stuff. Yeah, it's slick, man. It's going to require me to reconfigure my OBS here. I may have to create a new profile because we won't need all of my graphics and stuff for that kind of stuff. We'll see. I'll get it out. They are making a Blue Beetle Happy Burger meal. Really? I don't think that's going to be enough for it to cross the finish line there, Chris Schober, which sucks. It sucks. All right. That's it for me, guys. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. Join us tomorrow because if there's not much movie news, we will be watching maybe that Tyrone movie. I'll have to screen it for the nudity. But more than, well, hey, maybe we can stream Street Fighter tomorrow. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see. Guys, hit that thumbs up button. Enjoy the rest of your day. You're watching Mirror Domains.